going, everyone? So continuing off last week's episode of Boruto, which is an episode that I described as one of the best episodes of the Boruto anime in a long while. Episode 150 does a wonderful job of increasing the engagement and interest and even the tension of the arc in a very, I wouldn't necessarily say creative, but a very natural flowing way, if I can phrase it like that. Well going, everyone, Sanju Uchiha here. Welcome back to the channel, and it's time for me to talk about the Boruto anime once again. Of course, be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate all the support. Leave a like, a comment, let me know what you thought about the episode naturally. And yeah, journey to 1,000 subscribers, and let's get right into it. So episode 150, as I said, this episode manages to continue off I thought the excellent character writing for episode 149 and raise the tension and stakes for this particular episode. Now, this episode is based on chapter 13 of the Boruto manga. Of course, I would highly recommend you guys checking out the Boruto manga if you actually don't read it. Highly recommend. Don't know what you're waiting on, but yeah, one of the benefits I think this arc has, the Mujina Bandits arc and its anime adaptation, is that since it's not long, it doesn't take long to actually raise the stakes and tensions. Because the thing is, and this is especially true for the Boruto anime, a lot of episodes feel like a slice of life, more of a laid back, kind of like a fillerish feeling. And if you don't read the manga, getting into this arc, at least this section of the arc, you kind of get the feeling and get expectation it's going to be more of a laid back kind of fillerish feeling again. But again, since the arc in itself isn't that long in the manga, it doesn't take a long time for it to ramp up. We're literally on episode 3 of the manga section of this arc, and we're already at this point where we're basically solidifying or finalizing things for Boruto to face off with the leader of the Mujina Bandits gang, Shojoji. So that just goes to show you the pacing is pretty good. It does seem like we're getting one chapter, one episode adaptation kind of setup. So this basically covers all the content for chapter 13, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, there's that. Now this episode focuses on raising the tension and stakes, as I said, as Tento, the son of the feudal lord, is abducted by Shojoji, the leader of the Mujina Bandits gang, all while dealing with the fact that Team 7 has a rank B mission, which Boruto goes on to actually decline just to make sure that he can rescue Tento, who he learns has been abducted by Shojoji. That's the basic setup for the episode. Now, we don't take long to actually get into the fact that Shojoji abducts Tento. That doesn't take really long to establish. Of course, Boruto and company, they are given a new B rank mission as they meet with Konohamaru, who spoiler warning, it's kind of refreshing to see him, but honestly, he's been missing in the manga for so long. Honestly, I think Konohamaru really needs some more time to shine in this whole Boruto franchise. But hey, topic for another another video. But yeah, they're handed the B rank mission. Of course, Boruto eventually finds out that Tento is abducted. Once he figures out that he has the Naruto card, well, it's not Naruto card, I believe it's the Sasuke card, that was given to him by Tento. Sneakily, he basically snuck it into Boruto's pocket. So Boruto, of course, decides that he's sticking to the development that he's had in his character by, I'm gonna work for what I want, so I'm gonna carry his card back, and that's all cool and all. But through this, he eventually finds out that Tento has been abducted, since we overhears the feudal lord basically talking about the fact that the Mujina Bandits contacted them. They have some ridiculous requests. 500 million, was it? That's how much money they wanted, or was it 5 million? And of course, they want all prisoners in the Azuki, or blood prison, Azuki castle, to be released. Now this is one of the benefits this arc had in expanding it with the additional 6 to 7 episodes wherein we had Boruto, Mitsuki, and Sarada basically invade or sneak into blood prison or Azuki castle. It kind of gives more weight to that section of the arc in retrospect when you think about it, and it's one of the benefits that persons like myself found in the arc, because in the manga we only had the request by Shojoji to release all prisoners. We didn't really have any context or any background or any connection with that aspect of it. So that part of the art definitely gives some, in retrospect, gets some points, I suppose. But I guess it's only for this one throwaway line, I guess. So yeah. it's I guess it's worth what it's worth at the end of the day. So there's definitely that. Now, one thing I found interesting about the episode, and I'll definitely leave the comparison on screen here, is the whew, can I call it that? Can I call it censorship? Probably I could. Now, one thing about this episode and the chapter it's based on, honestly, Sarada in the manga was really being sexualized, and honestly, I kind of understand the decision to kind of censor, kind of change how this scene was portrayed from an artistic point of view, because at the end of the day, Sarada is still just 13 at this point. So yeah, so you can see why, and I'll leave it on screen here. You can see why they make the change from an artistic point of view. Even her clothing that was in the scene in the manga has been changed for this part in the adaptation for this episode. So I just found that interesting. Let me know what you think about that and the decision to change it over. So yeah, there's definitely that. Of course, as I said, Boruto eventually finds out. He goes on to confront Shojoji and rescue Tento. Now, what was also interesting about the episode was when we had Shojoji trying to eat Tento's brain. We as viewers find out about the corpse clone jutsu more so from the horse's mouth, basically from Shojoji himself. He does confirm that he can basically take on a person's memories, appearance, and abilities by eating their brain. And later towards the end of the episode, we find out that he has to eat the person's brain while they're alive. So that, you can imagine, that does kind of work out for a graphic death for the person. Now, before, we had just panaways from Shojoji doing this, but in this episode, it's interesting that they straight up let Shojoji bite into Tento's skull to attempt to take over his appearance and all that jazz and blues, before being saved by Boruto, that is. So that was very interesting to see on screen. Now, another thing that I liked about this episode, because I read back certain portions of the chapter that it's based on, was the expansion on Shojoji's plan. In the manga, it was just, okay, we're gonna use him as a bargaining chip, and yeah, at some point I'm gonna eat your brain and take on your appearance. But I love the fact that this episode actually expanded on Shojoji's plan. Apart from eating his brain, he actually planned to go to the feudal lord, pretend everything's over, then eventually eat the feudal lord, and then basically take over the land of fire. Now, in the grand scheme of things, this does help to pin Shojoji as a really massive threat at the end of the day, from a political point of view, from having all that power. Because when you think about it, he would be able to basically order around Naruto at the end of the day, and Naruto wouldn't be able to really tell the difference, because Shojoji would have the feudal lord's memories and everything at his disposal. So there's that. That's one of the brilliant things about this corpse clone jutsu. So I think this episode helped to really paint a big picture, or a great picture, of the possible problems that Shojoji can cause for the Naruto universe going forward. And I think it helps us to get more invested in what's going to happen and how this is going to play out at the end of the day. So yeah, episode 150, definitely a plus, definitely a good continuation of episode 149. These two episodes definitely work well as a pair, and episode 151 going into 152, I believe, should be one of the next set of episodes that are going to really shake up things for anime only watchers, because we're going to get into some territory that's going to take the Boruto anime to a next level. Granted, they more than likely might be getting into filler or a slice of life, or what I predict, they may be adapting a novel after this arc, but we can only wait and see at the end of the day. So hey, what can you do? But anyway, let me know what you thought about this episode, people. Of course, be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you thought about my review and my thoughts on the episode. Definitely a plus, definitely a decent, definitely a good episode, I'd say. So yeah, Sanji Uchiha, I hope you guys are having a great day. Be sure to stay safe. I know how things are set right now with the whole state of the world, the virus, everything. Be sure to wash your hands, sanitize, all that. So yeah. Anyway, I'm recording this pretty late. I have work in the morning, so hey. See you guys in the next one.